action continues live tonight on Dynamite, coming to you on TBS and streaming for the first time on Max.
This match is number one fall, the 20-minute time limit. Approaching the ring from Southampton, England, Jamie Hayter.
Tony Schiavone, this match coming up a few weeks in the making. Jamie Hayter made her return late last year after 15 months on the shelf, and it was at Collision. Winter is coming. The lights went out. We had seen Julia Hart disrupting Hayter's packages, but this was the first time it got physical between these two competitors.
She slipped in darkness to Julia Hart. There'll be no slipping in darkness here because Jamie Hayter, I think, has looked sensational after coming. Well, we knew it would get dark, but I think she's looked sensational since returning to the ring after her long hiatus because of an injury.
And her opponent, uttering the House of Black, Julia Hart.
Well, you mentioned Jamie Hayter's layoff due to injury. Likewise, the princess of the Black Throne, Julia Hart, suffering a shoulder injury last April amid her reign, her first reign as TBS champion. But Tony Schiavone, this young athlete, Julia Hart, just 23 years of old, 23 years of age, the first of many championship reigns, I'm sure.
I don't think there's any question about that, Excalibur. You're taking a look at a young lady who is wrestling a very important match for her. She comes in with a lot of confidence, as always, but this is the first time she has seen action in the ring in 255 days. For Jamie Hayter, it was 458 days. So she knows what it's like to have her first match back.
And Hayter, of course, has been wrestling these past few months, making her surprise return at All in London when we were at Wembley Stadium last August. And since then has been active. If there was any bit of ring rust on Jamie Hayter, she has most certainly shaken it off. But does Julia Hart have the poise, have the experience to come into this match at 100%?
I think it was very, very revealing that Hayter had just absolutely turned her back to Julia Hart. Julia with a little smile on her face when that happened.
Now the wry smile, the duck underneath of the collar and elbow tie-up. Julia Hart, certainly the layoff from the ring has not dampened her confidence as Hayter now. Collar and elbow tie-up as Julia slips underneath. A little bit of a shove, and now going after the arm of Jamie Hayter.
It's a match we've been looking for a long time, Excalibur, for many, many reasons.
It's a match that Jamie Hayter's been looking for a long time, I can tell you that.
Absolutely it is.
Now a handful of hair from Julia bringing Hayter down, but Hayter kicking back up to her feet a third time, and now Hayter returns the favor, drags Julia down.
Well, you know, of course, we never have heard from Julia Hart about the reasons that she has for attacking Jamie Hayter and singling out Jamie Hayter, but it's pretty obvious.
Well, I think, I mean, if to make a uneducated guess, I would say in calling out Jamie Hayter, Julia Hart is calling out a former AEW Women's World Champion, a dominant former champion. And what better way to get yourself right back in the mix than to come out of the gates to knock off Jamie Hayter here tonight. And it's Hayter, though, showing her power, driving Julia down.
Yeah, but be careful what you wish for, Julia Hart, against the powerhouse that is Jamie Hayter. And who is wrestling with a lot of confidence and who's been back a lot longer than you have.
As now Hayter looking to close the distance in the corner. The splash in the corner. Julia Hart is rocked here as Hayter, a second one. And Julia getting everything she asked for.
She sure is.
As Hayter coming in, back elbow though. Julia, nice anticipation there, and a shot to the back. Sends Jamie Hayter crashing to the ring apron, and now Julia assists her out to the floor.
Now Julia's going to go out after her.
Julia Hart crossbody attempt. Hayter again using her power. And oh, Jamie Hayter. I'm not sure if she got her hands on the steps, preventing what would have been a disastrous crash. And now, oh, Julia landing on the steps and...
Uh-oh, trouble now.
Oh, Jamie Hayter driven onto the steps. Remember that 15-month layoff, Tony, was due to a back injury suffered by Jamie Hayter. Julia Hart looking to exploit that, and fans don't go anywhere because the action continues live on Dynamite.
As you could see, Jamie Hayter hit the back of her head on those steel steps, but also, like you said, the back. And now Julia's going to work on the back even more up against that LED board.
Of course, Tony, you know it very well. Neck injuries, back injuries, spinal injuries. I got there eventually. They never go away. I mean, you can rehab, you can have surgery, you can do as much to deal to support with that injury, but it's something that sticks with you for the rest of your career, the rest of your life.
And of course, obviously, if you know anything about spinal injuries, and believe you me, I do, they affect your limbs, your arms, your legs, your movement. It affects your strength, especially if you get a contusion or you get a compression on the C6.
Oh, DDT by Julia Hart. This could be it here. Hart with the cover, too. And Hayter able to kick out. Talk about compressing the spine. Julia Hart, vicious DDT, and now bouncing Hayter's head off the mat.
This is just absolutely vicious. I don't know what purpose this is. Now I know she was going to try to get the win out of this, but, Jamie Hayter still with a lot of reserve. Again, we're looking at a former world champion who was a great world champion before the injury. I think we all can agree to that.
And it took the combined efforts of the group then known as the Outcasts. It was Saraya, Ruby Soho, and Toni Storm. Their combined efforts injured Jamie Hayter, made sure that she was in no shape to compete, and allowed Toni Storm to just take an easy victory over one of the most formidable presences in our locker room.
Absolutely. Once again, it shows many, and it goes back to what Jon Moxley is doing now. It shows that if you have people in your corner that believe in you, the sky's the limit. I mean, it could be called gang warfare if you want to call it that or not, but it works. It worked for Jon Moxley, and it worked, of course, for Toni Storm back then.
And now Jamie Hayter, such power on those strikes, even from her knees. Julia Hart knew that, and now has the headlock cinched in. Once again, targeting the neck of Jamie Hayter. If there is any ring rust on Julia Hart, we're definitely not seeing it, Tony.
No, she's looked great. She looks great. Look at this. Added leverage. Raising the hips up. Putting some more pressure on her own legs, and thus pressure on the neck.
Yeah, it's Jamie Hayter, though. You see kicking those feet, trying to slide on her hip towards the bottom rope to force the break on the submission hold. AEW Dynamite, Fight for the Fallen, live from Asheville, North Carolina, the Harris Cherokee Center, the home of so many great pro wrestling memories, and our first time here tonight, and we are seeing Julia Hart and Jamie Hayter go into battle here tonight, Tony.
Nothing, no finesse about Jamie Hayter. Back elbow, fist, boot, straight kick. And look at this, pounding away, a little payback.
The hammer fists from a very frustrated Jamie Hayter. As now Hayter looking for the lariat. Julia ducks underneath, and Hayter hoists her up. Wow. The hate breaker could be it. The cover. 2. The momentary pause may have cost the win for Jamie Hayter.
Let's not forget Julia Hart's time off was because of a bad shoulder, like you talked about, in shoulder surgery. Jamie Hayter now kicking the back, kicking the upper body here.
Yeah, this is our first look at Julia Hart post-injury. And this is our first look at seeing how she bounces back. And even though she's at the disadvantage right now, Julia Hart comporting herself well, being in there with the former AEW Women's World Champion.
Just turning her back to Julia Hart. Could be luring her in. Yep, absolutely.
Julia Hart using those powerful boots to drive Hayter down in the corner. Now Julia up to the top. She favors the moonsault press from the top rope. Has she dished out enough damage to Jamie Hayter? No.
Hayter was too close that time.
And Julia ducked underneath now. Back heel trip. Cover. 2. And Hayter able to break free. We've seen Julia Hart concentrating on that neck, the head of, now the Heartless is cinched in. The submission technique from Julia Hart, perhaps all in service, or the damage to the neck all in service of this submission technique.
Rising knee strikes, though, helps Jamie Hayter get the advantage. She's got Julia Hart up, Excalibur.
The power of Jamie Hayter, allowing her to get to a vertical position. And Julia, though, now freeing one arm, but Hayter.
Oh, my. She's just hanging on that left arm.
Oh, wow, Jamie Hayter now.
It's amazing.
Hoist up Hart into the fireman's carry. Oh, Death Valley driver on the knee. Julia Hart on the receiving end of the lariat. The cover, and no! Hart able to break out.
That sliding lariat from Jamie Hayter is lethal. And now she's really, those pounds on the side of the leg are out of frustration from Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, when Hayter comes in with that lariat, she is firing downhill, Tony. Her opponent has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide from that, as now Julia retreating back into the corner. Tried to get the knees up, but Hayter just too strong, walked through it.
Julie's done a good job now a couple of times of luring Jamie Hayter into the corner, but right now Hayter is relentless.
And Jamie Hayter, she's got so many weapons. Of course, the lariat we talked about, the backbreaker we saw. And now, wow, trying to soften up the midsection of Julia Hart as Hayter now to the ropes, maybe thinking of bringing Julia in the heart.
Oh, she hit hard.
Sweeping out the leg. Jamie Hayter crashing hard. Immediately comes up clutching her, I believe, her left arm, left shoulder.
Yeah, it looks like her. Yeah, it looks like her left shoulder. Not sure.
Right, excuse me. Whatever
okay, you're
it was,
right.
It's the ribs. It was a disastrous landing. But oh, wait a second. Julia Hart with that arrow.
She's got the arrow that we have seen in many of her videos.
And Aubrey Edwards sees it clear as day. As now, oh, the mist into the eyes. The mist in the eyes. The referee didn't see it. 2, 3. Julia Hart steals it.
Julia Hart. The arrow was just a diversionary tactic to get the referee's attention. It works. And the black mist, and Julia Hart comes back with a win. And Jamie Hayter is still stumbling on the floor. Look at her, she can't even get out.
The mist into the eyes, courtesy of the princess of the Black Throne.
Of course, we're not sure what's in that mist, but obviously it burns. And it's meant to burn. It's meant to yeah.
And now Jamie Hayter being looked at by our medical staff. Wow. Julia Hart victorious, but fans, this Saturday was the latest chapter in the epic rivalry between Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher.